No topic left untouched. Much respect.
It's your boy Scoonie, used to get high as coolie. Now I spit moody, make beats that super groovy. See, Willin, that sticky, told me Spoon is no biggie. So I sample Biggie, grab a drink and got tipsy. Rock with me for a
Yo, what's happening? Welcome to another No Topic Left Untouched. Getting right on into it. We hope everybody's doing good. Hope your new year is starting off the right way.
Hey, it's been a minute, man.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've been on this mic. You know what I'm saying? So
This the first time.
yeah, I'm glad to be back. You know what I'm saying?
You know, this the first episode, the 15's going into the new year. You know, so like I said, I hope everybody's doing good, man. How y'all feeling, Drake, man? What's going on? You quiet, being the quiet one. Here we go.
It's a deep one. I'm happy to be here, like you said. It's been a second. Happy to be back.
Word up. As he can say, or as he said, get right on into it. Man, today's episode is a special episode. As you've seen, you're gonna see a series. This is a series that coming out. Want to start off the new year, basically telling you why No Topic Left Untouched was birthed. And I thought it was appropriate for me to bring my comrades to talk about the things that you've been hearing me talk about pertaining to why No Topic Left Untouched was birthed, why we're here today, why we are motivated to come before you all and share our views and topics about things going on. And as you know, Amaya, my daughter, being murdered, her situation caused it to where inside me, and let me just say this first. I gotta say this first, man. This is not gonna be for everybody. This is not an episode that.
Man, it's barely for me.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you guys today. That this episode is a touching episode on an aspect that it's gonna touch nerves. It's gonna touch an impulse. This is I think probably, if anything, one of the number one doorbell ringers in our community today that we don't never want to deal with. We don't want to deal with this particular topic. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you have problems, you can please check left now, because this one right here is about to get hot. When my daughter was murdered, it put me in a situation where I've never thought before in my life. To what we're dealing with today, knowing that there is an individual that is out there among us free, who killed somebody someone knows and won't tell the truth. As complex or as that sounds, or simple as that sounds, let me say, because it's not a complex situation. As simple as that sounds, you would think justice would be served. Go ahead, handle your business. Unfortunately, it's not, because in our community today, we live by the code and essence of no snitching. You can understand why I say this is an uncomfortable situation, an uncomfortable conversation, a topic today. I know that we live on this particular code. This is how we raise our children. I mean, just like cattle, just like you breed cattle and you and horses and and dogs and all those different things. We breed our children to not snitch. I mean, I don't know if anyone here can tell me otherwise. And I'm speaking about, like I said before, like we've said before, we speak about our community. We speak about what's going on in our community. And this, to me, kind of piggybacks to that conversation that we had about black on black genocide. With this topic, we can open up a little bit more into why I believe that is black on black genocide. How we breed our children to not tell the truth. Only to do what? And maybe someone here can help me understand why. And I even say this to the viewers. I mean, I'm no coward. I'm not, you'll be able to chat. You'll be able to comment. You'll be able to say what you need to say. If you want to get on the platform with me and share your viewpoint, I'm with that.
It's man, this topic is deep because, I mean, it goes back to childhood. Like when I was a kid, I was growing up. I'm about 5 years older than my sister, and we would be playing together. And the one thing that I remember my dad saying to me is like, you gotta have each other's back no matter what. And that means you don't need to keep coming in here telling on your sister, or you don't need to come in here and keep telling on your brother. Y'all figure it out. So it's like he said, it's embedded in us. Now, I'm not saying that at 5 and 10 we should be running and be able to go tell our parents that, he hit me or she hit me. But it's deeper than that. It's when you have information that's vital, that could put closure to something or someone. I mean, somebody's got to step up and be that person. Be the person. Be the person that is able to know that you have to have courage and be able to go out and step up and do what is right. It's only right. You have the information. Because what would be even righter is the person that did it turn themselves in. But we all know that that's not what's going to happen. So I don't want to sit here and say, start snitching, because that's not how I feel. But at the same time, I feel like we need to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Discern or understand when things are pivotal, have an effect on someone, because it already caused an effect when it happened in the first place. So now we got to go without being able to have any kind of something that says that this world is okay. You just get to take things from me.
Evidently, that's the way it works. That's the way it works around here, because we can't tell. Because if we tell, we breaking some damn law, you know what I'm saying, over something that ain't even there's no loyalty in it. There's no one loyal. Nobody doing no hard time. I got good friends. I've grown up with that's in positions that work for the FBI. I have worked for the FBI. I've been to detectives, and we've had and shared conversations to where, I've never been in that, but they've shared with me how 85+%. He said even more than that, probably 95% of the individuals who portray that hardcore role that they ain't gonna tell, or they're not gonna do everything, be the first ones who tell. Because once they he said, everybody say that 25 to life thing. He said, man, hell, I don't even have to say 25 to life. He said, I can tell these guys, hey, bro, 5. Man, can I get a cigarette?
What's that first 48, right? You was just talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Can I get a cigarette? Everybody talk about this 24. I mean, maybe the Baltimore areas, the areas where we done seen from The Wires, because we don't know nothing about these areas. We only know about these areas from The Wire, The Corner, looking at New York through Respect Life, all these different portrayals of the environment that we've seen on this coast. Unless you've lived there, you don't know nothing about it. That's the only way you know. The same way vice versa. But what I do know is the same thing is happening everywhere. Everybody telling. Ain't no loyalty. Ain't nobody doing to do no time. They go.
I mean, there's well-known stories. What's the boy named Alpo?
Man.
I just heard
Frank Lucas. Like, I mean, haven't we heard
every major player I know?
Real names.
Every major player I know's told.
Gave up some stuff.
Everybody told.
To say they.
Everybody told.
Why is it okay for them to do it?
But no,
but because they running around here, so they getting out of prison now.
Mm-hmm.
What about where this whole?
Where the Kodak that they get killed because
they ain't gonna kill them. This ain't that era. This ain't the 80s where you didn't have. Well, you know, and they'll tell you that. In their era they had They didn't have cameras. You still had a guy who could be a lookout and tell you police is coming 10 miles down the line. You didn't have cell phones. You didn't have all these different forms or various ways of communication as you do now. You have all these ways of communicating and finding out anything. Everybody tell. You know what I'm saying? The smokers tell. Back in those eras, they say the smokers didn't even tell. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is going to tell.
Then I have a question then, because you just brought up a very valid point. I have a question. So in a situation such as the situation that you have going on with Amaya, what is it? Is it the fear factor? Like, what would it be that causes someone to know some information but not give it up? Like,
it's either gonna be one, fear, or I think here goes the street mentality.
But that's
we finna get that payback. It's that payback.
Wouldn't he want retribution? Oh, okay.
Well, that's the retribution. It's a payback. But see, this is what we fell to get in our minds as a community is that okay? Let's get payback. Okay, well I'm gonna go kill it. This is why gangbanging is the way it is today, and why it will never die. The same way, you know what I'm saying, I learned Crips don't die, they multiply or whatever. I'm not taking nothing away from any of that. If that's what you do, I know a lot of people who down talk it. I don't down talk it, man. I grew up playing football against other it's a lot that is good. However, the bad side of it has majority influence. You know what I'm saying?
It's the real stuff. It's what you do to survive. It's the things that allows you to move day to day.
You can survive by getting up out of the hood.
Yeah, but playing football with the neighborhood across the street ain't doing nothing but giving y'all camaraderie.
I'm gonna be real.
What about when y'all finish playing and y'all meet up at the 7-Eleven and one of the homies just got
camaraderie now?
Right. Are we still doing the same thing? It ain't no. Somebody finna get smoked right at the 7-Eleven.
The bottom line is this. I mean, regardless of the environment or whatever, which we know, I grew up in an environment, not telling the truth, bro, has caused how much death? Because as I was saying before, you go back, that individual, one, you scared. Two, you go back and you go get your own street justice, right? But what has happened when you get your street justice? Now what wound have you opened? One, you killed somebody else's child. Mama, brother, I don't care whatever your thought process about it. This is what has occurred. Understand? The cycle. We're going back to them words again. Trey, you said in the episode, when do we break the cycle? Okay. So that now that cycle you didn't kill. So they homeboys gonna coming after you or whoever was the shooter. And then it's gonna keep going until that happens. And then it's gonna keep going and it's gonna keep going. And then he's gonna come back this way. And then you done killed this homie. And then that's look. One of my favorite people I watch is Kev Mac videos, and he's probably the number one between him. And I give Alonzo his respect to Alex Alonzo, but he's the number one dude who brings you the origins of Crips and Bloods and gangs as far as that formulated, right? Then you pay attention. I look at a lot of stuff that he be doing. You know what I'm saying? And bro, if you listen to them stories and you listen, and it's no different, man. It's up to us to make a change. Period.
It's like addiction, man. You gotta want to.
What about the idea of the code behind gangster life? When you live in a certain gangster life, then you know the risk that come with it. You understand what you're getting yourself into. And when people get caught up, then it's your job to button your lip and not say anything. And we also have a certain history with the cops in America where telling what you know might get somebody washed unjustly, or the cops might have any reason why to wring the neck of a black person just for the sake of anybody's eyewitness is kind of enough. And I don't know what research y'all have done, but I understand that eyewitness is one of the worst witnesses ever. Your memory gets involved, trauma is involved, your memory changes according to your prejudices. Mm-hmm. So what about the code that when you live a gangster life and when you live a thug life, then when thug things happen to you, your folks is not supposed to snitch. But what happens when that same kind of a thug activity hits a bystander, or hits a daughter, or hits the grandma, or hits the dad who worked 2 jobs and he's just trying to make it work for his kids, or whatever your situation is? What happens when this thug life crosses over into what is known as civilian life, as if y'all military? You're not.
That's not you. But look, you think that way, but the structure of it, that's what I'm saying. Like I was getting to, you know what I'm saying? Kev Mac, if you look at if you want to learn history and you want to know about that, Crips and Bloods and how that started, guaranteed, go to Kev Mac videos, you'll find out. Because I give you one of the biggest robberies that started in the year we was born. Started in 1979. I think it was maybe I was born in July. So it happened, I want to say a few months before I was born or so, like that. That's where the 83rd or 8 trade gangsters and the Rolling 60 beef started. You know how it started? A lot of people say, if you listen to certain individuals, they say it will start over girl. Start over female, and one individual named, I don't want to say his name out of respect because that's not my place. But if you go on Kev Mac, you'll learn that history. And that young man, if look how old he was when he was murdered, right? The individual that murdered him wasn't even from the 83rd 8 trade gangsters neighborhood, but he came from another gang and joined their gang. A normal fist fight, he goes and gets a gun and comes back and kills this man. You sparked a war that has lasted over 40 years. So, this is what happened. And this is what bothered me when I listened to all those different OGs, all those individuals who have survived that war. Because the reality of it is, they survived. If you listen to Monster Cody, he has been scarred. The man is PTSD. He tells you how many times the 60s and killed him. He contemplates in a lot of his conversations on he got his sanity. He's cool with him. I think today's a little bit different. But he at one point he's like cool with him. But in the same conversation, he'll turn back around and say, man, he'll kill him. He been shot 6 times, right? But all that back on that murder, all that murder started over that. But this individual who wasn't even didn't grow he wasn't even respected like that from their neighborhood, right? You killed one of these guys' friends. This is how crazy it is. They were friends. They grew up together from elementary school. 2 different gangs. One individual from a whole different neighborhood joins a gang, comes in, shoots another man. They don't want to tell. And it starts a 40-some-year-old war. And don't want to tell on the individual. And they even said, Monster Cody said himself, They just want to know who the shooter. They don't want to. This ain't about nothing. We just want the shooter. But no, it was about loyalty. It was about street code. It was about ethic. And how many, I don't know. I'm not from Los Angeles. But I would love to sit here and ask any one of them and ask them if they know what's the numbers on both sides of them Crip gangs over what? I don't care if, and the crazy thing, the crazy thing, what blew my mind, right? What made me research it even further, bro, to prove my point that I don't understand people's thought process. The dude ended up going to jail anyway for the murder.
How? Who told?
Don't know. Couldn't find out. Couldn't find the source. But Cab Mack was able to talk to, I think it was Cab Mack. I think it was a big homie who was able to tap into the source or find that individual and talk to the individual. And the individual said the boy ended up in jail for the murder. And 42 years, be this year.
Is the beef over now?
No. Well, when Nipsey died, that was the first time. That's what made Nipsey so important to that Crenshaw community. Everybody say he ain't a legend. He ain't what. That's a hater to me. You can say whatever. Everybody has, I guess, their definition of legend. But for what he was, I'm doing something that all that hard, tough talk, whatever, you couldn't do. Cause you hard, you tough. And then in the same token, what happened? Nipsey killed by his own.
What does his legend? Thank you. You said it for me. What did his legendary status get him?
Unity.
They got unity.
In some aspect.
What?
Regardless, some of us
How
may.
does that benefit the man? And I understand that there are some things bigger than the man.
You know
but
what?
Nipsey would disagree with you. Something tells me he would rather be here right now.
I think Nipsey
moving his
woke a
business
lot
and
of
doing
people
his thing
up.
versus being a dead martyr.
I think that Nipsey's death woke a lot of people up.
Yep.
I really do, because the way he touched people. I mean, people mourned for weeks, and I'm talking about people I know here that had no clue who he was, going to his to the mural.
But does it change the heart of the?
It does. That's what I'm saying.
How does it benefit the culture when we lose those types of folks?
You can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Touch
The benefit.
everybody all at once, right? Like it's. We got to keep teaching and touching each other, right?
3 weeks later, one of these young boys gets caught up in a street fight and shoots or takes shots. I mean, all around that same time, all of these young boys is still with that action. So Nipsey's death did what to benefit those who came after him? This was just another good one taken down. And by the time the smoke clears, the benefits of his death do what? Because I don't see it slowing down. I don't see nobody saying like, yo, I would have done this and that to a nigga, but because of Nip, I'm a fall back. Or because there's a certain thing that Nip brought to where I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna pick up that baton and I'm gonna run with it. That's not it. It's the total opposite. It's like niggas die every day, B, and motherfuckers keep on going with that bullshit.
Yeah.
So then what happens really to the culture when you lose a good one? Do you just lose a good one, or what do you?
Well, what
does his death do? What did Pac's death do? When you really look back, all it did was influence another generation to get thug like tapped across their stomach.
Nah, Pac.
What did Biggie's death really do for the violence in black culture? How did he help to heal? How do these deaths help to heal the nation? They don't.
Once again, they're unsolved. So they're
with Tupac is that where did we get from Tupac? One, his case was solved. So, that on the record, it was solved. Of course, years later, different views later.
Who's the person that they got then?
The reality was that is I don't want to say his name, but Orlando Anderson technically, you know, reality of what, but because this is the thing about it.
Is it on paper?
They got Keefe D speaking on it.
Is it on paper?
Keefe, I do because Keefe D was in the car.
Can I pull it up on the LAPD or the LA or the LAMD, who the LVMD? Can I pull it up?
Well, I mean, let's find out. I got it. You know, we got access to. So let's.
Somebody tell me something, because no, it's still some. Yeah, that's still some hearsay from my perspective. That's still some. We can't even find out because he gone. I know there's people that's close to me that have stories about what really went down, but how am I supposed to know? Supposedly there was 2 cops that was there, and then when the real cops arrived, they wasn't nowhere to be found.
And also days before that, too, all the weird shit that's going on.
You know, I mean, one of the things is what I can't really view or say on here is that, you know, maybe I can insert it. I don't know. I'll look into it. You know, we starting off.
I mean, y'all bringing it up,
and we knew to it, but the reality of it is
some real information.
Individuals have viewed it, and you know, I don't know the proper channels, but Greg Kading, you can look that up. You know what I'm saying? Greg Kading has spoken on it. He's been involved in that case since the beginning. All you can do is go by what has been pointed. It had nothing to do with Puffy. It had nothing to do with it. The individual who killed Tupac, according to Greg Kading, if I'm correct, you know, was Orlando Anderson. Period. And the crazy thing about it is, if you listen to the conversation about it.
Don't shake my microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you listen to the conversation about it, you know, you'll find out that.
Maybe there's something that well,
yeah, it's not coming up, huh? Yeah, I know.
Orlando Anderson was the prime suspect in the murder of Tupac Shakur, rapper Tupac Shakur. Anderson belonged to the California-based gang known as the Southside Compton Crips. Detective Tim Brennan of the CPD filed an affidavit naming Anderson as a suspect. Anderson denied involvement in Shakur's murder and was never charged. On May 29th, 98, at the age of 23, he was killed in a gang-related shootout. At the time of his death, Anderson was in possession of starting his own record label. So maybe he was a suspect.
So
it doesn't say that.
Again, another person gets to take somebody out of this world, but he get ready to start a record label.
Do the exact same thing.
Wait, and then you gonna tell me Karma took him out too?
Jealousy?
Come on, man. Y'all killing me right now. Let's be realistic right now. Let's get some real. Can somebody tell me some examples of somebody that's been turned in?
Well, this is the way I look at it. I mean, just I don't know about you,
who's been turned in?
Greg Kading has that, but you can sit here and speculate or whatever. But Keefe D has nothing to lose, right? Keefe D was in the car.
If it ain't filed in paperwork, I don't care what you say.
Bro, look it up.
It's hearsay.
It's all hearsay.
Bro,
it's all hearsay.
Bro,
all of it. To this point, to this day, him and Biggie are both on some hearsay.
What did it do for the culture? Even if they're murdered, I ain't talking about.
This is what. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
I got a question. Did they get Orlando Anderson's name from somebody snitching?
Orlando Anderson was involved. He was there, but somehow, some way, of course, there was no snitching, right? Because the case was unsolved for how many years? KFD is speaking.
Don't even know.
The way they look at it, this is the weird thing about it to me, and on that. And I'm happy you brought that up, Phil.
Don't shake my mic.
How is it that it's okay, and I ain't shaking your damn mic, nigga? How is it okay?
Yes, you are.
Right.
How is it okay to talk about somebody when they dead? Because that's what it seems like. That's the new MO is. If you pay attention to like other different views and other people's conversations and all that different stuff, bro.
So when did
they feel
say that? Because if it was before,
it's on Vlad.
Yeah.
It's on Vlad. It's Vlad. It was live. It's Vlad has it. Go on Vlad.
Was it before 1998?
Of course, nothing was before 1998. So that, like I said, so think about this.
So that means
again.
that means that Keefy D is talking about someone who's already been dead.
Exactly.
Someone who can't argue their point because according to
because he's dead, that means it's wrong.
No.
What we just said. No. According to what we just found, he denied.
However,
he denied.
We will never get to know the truth.
Should we believe Keefy D or Orlando Anderson? Should we believe Keefy D because he's still alive?
Mr. Keaton.
I'm gonna read it again.
What? Read what?
Orlando Anderson denied being involved with the murder of Tupac.
Okay.
So who do we believe? Keefy D because he's alive? Or Orlando Anderson who died denying the murder of Tupac?
I'm just saying, bro. Like,
other people have given hints, and we're talking about from the outlaws.
Don't all of these real gangsters say, where's the paperwork?
There's a file. There's a file. So when the murder happens, like, there's a file. So, you can go look at it. You know what?
Because I think this is going different. And let me just keep it all the way 100 then, since we're going.
It's not going different.
No. So let me say this. Regardless of the fact, then, if we want to stay on the topic and not verge and go far to right or left or whatever, Tupac's case went X amount of years. Biggie's case went X amount of years. So you asked that question about what did Tupac? It does matter. All that matters because that should have happened a long time ago.
What does it do for the culture?
What does it do for the culture? We live by a culture that don't snitch.
No snitching.
Nothing.
No snitch.
Nothing.
That's what it exactly. We continue to not snitch because it took X amount of years for us to get somewhat of a testimony. I don't, everybody can have whatever their views, but I'm gonna believe Keefy D because Keefy D was in the car.
And
that's it. I'm not gonna think about what shoulda, coulda, woulda. Some man that's dead, died 1998, whatever. Keefy D was in the car. That's Keefy D's nephew, bloodline, right? I'm not just gonna say I got nephews. I'm not just gonna say my nephew. No,
I think what you're saying is irrelevant.
Okay, but the bottom line is the cases have been unsolved. We got videos today, movies on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Well, one of my frat brothers right now, my frat brothers did a series trying to solve a case that should have been solved in 1998, right?
I think he has some questions.
What?
Or something to say.
If we're going to say that Tupac's murder was solved according to Keefy D, is that what you're telling me right now? If we're going to use that as our bar, we have to start with something we agree on. We have to start with an origin point. We can't be arguing about things from all random
The detective
sides.
says the same thing.
So where's the paperwork at?
Look up the paperwork.
He was the lead suspect. They didn't say we found DNA evidence and he was convicted. Even though he's dead, we know who the killer is. So if we're gonna say that because Keefy D said it, that makes it true, then what about all the other things? And doesn't that break down the whole idea of snitching in the first place? If Keefy D can make it true just because of his closeness, then can't we apply that rule to every other example? And doesn't that break down the idea of no?
Because I think it begs the difference. The question of what you brought up, like, did he say it in 1998? Because I mean, let's think about it logically. So exactly, let's think about this logically. Like, if Keefy D is saying this after the fucking fact, then that is almost hearsay itself, regardless of him being in the car or not.
Isn't that snitching?
That's a third party story at this point. Like, you have.
Aren't you snitching on the dead?
It's snitching from the way everybody put it.
Even if it's after. I understand the fact that you can't bring harm to this man, but you can bring harm to his family name. You can bring harm to whatever he left behind, because just because you're dead doesn't mean that your issues and your problems.
Why we don't use the police, man? Why we don't use the police?
Because the police are known to work against us.
In every situation, there's never anything good that comes out of what we're trying to do.
Not
with the
every
police.
situation, but we have a historical type of thing that says the cops can do you wrong. And we could go into a historical thing. This is a reference for me. This is not something that I heard, but it's a historical reference that I heard. But it was the idea that when America was built, everybody was, the majority of the country was immigrants. This country is built off immigrants. And at some point, the Irish, that we can all attest to the fact that during our history, at some point, the Irish and the Germans and the Jews and the Scottish and all of these people who are considered white today in America were all separate and hating on each other. And there were places where you can see a sign that says, no Irish people allowed, or no niggers, no dogs, and no Mexicans, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So over and over and over with these different divides. And as America grows and becomes a bigger and bigger nation, a bigger and bigger power, all of these different types of white people start changing their name or picking sides. There was a time when the Irish were more treated like black people. They are the N-words of their culture. All of these goofy redheads and pale skin and crazy accent and blah, 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 blah. But at some point, the same thing happened with the Jews. You start changing your name and you start you start assimilating with the culture to where you have to pick a side. And the Chinese picked the side of how white people do their thing, and we could see some of the things like that. So the Irish people and the Scottish people picked the cops, and you can join their unions, and it's easier to become a cop if you are of a certain type of blood. And the Jews picked the banking system, and the other people picked something else, and on and on and on and on. America is just broken down into different segments. So when that's the case, then as you start policing the nation and not just your own neighborhoods, you start taking prejudices against certain people, like black people and Mexicans and whoever else is dark-skinned and doesn't have the same rights that you have. Because you kind of bought into America, you sold out a little bit, and you changed your name from O'Hoonigan to Finley. And it just seems a little bit more American. It seems a little bit less offensive. When you don't name your kids the way we do, when you don't name your kids Kashikashe and you just name her Barbara, it seems like you might have an easier time. So there was a time in America when white folks were divided and did the same thing. So the reason why we don't like buying into the cops, full circle, my point was saying all that, was because the reason why that black people don't always buy into calling the cops is because there is a underlying kind of a bias where we're gonna keep certain powers in certain segments and do things a certain way. So if you are living back in the day in the 20s and 30s and 40s when the reputation of the cops was built, and you have a certain way of treating black people wrong, then as the 50s and 60s come on, then there's just been decades of y'all discriminating us and policing our neighborhoods. I'm sure we've all heard of stories where the cops would run around with the welfare office to make sure there's no dads at home. So you telling me the cops is with the social worker to go house to house and make sure there's no extra toothbrushes, there's no male underwear, there's no signs.
But I mean, at the end of the day,
that's the cops enforcing. So the reason why we don't have trust is because of those types of things.
But
when you can die in the custody of the cops 6 hours before you get to the station, what happened between
Multiple times it's happened.
What happened between
it's
your
multiple
arrest?
times it's happened.
What happened between your arrest and your booking? How did you show up dead on accident? It's never a heart attack.
I can't remember who said that. I don't know if it was Cam. It was a couple people. I mean, over the years, I've heard of several different types.
How many stories in movies do you get your ass whooped and dumped in the Mexican hood when you're a black dude?
And that's just a movie. But we was hearing it in music before I was on the music. Before I was in the movies, I can't remember that lyric. Cam was saying it. Cam was talking about that same thing back then. He's the 90s. 8 was talking about that same thing back in the 90s. Look. Even hearing like I can't speak about LA. We hear about what LA, NWA, etc. But I know what I saw personally in Las Vegas, Nevada. You know what I'm saying? Through the late 80s, going into the early 90s, as I was coming in, transitioning into that age group or whatever as a young man. And I do remember what I saw and the things that I did. I remember being at Lorenzi Park with my step pops. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, in that era, it really, they wasn't shooting like that. They would shoot, but they would rattle the knuckle up. And I remember a big old fight that was happening, right? It was between, I don't know what Bloods, but it was between the Bloods and the Donna Boys. It was a big old fight. I just remember it. And the way they used to do it, they'd meet at the high schools back then. You know what I'm saying? No telling, no snitching. This all street, ain't involving no innocent people. This is we gonna meet at the basketball game. This is what's gonna happen, because this is how things was handled. You know, this was an era where they care more about, we gonna handle our business and we're not gonna involve individuals and lead and put individuals, innocent people in a situation. We're gonna take this elsewhere. No guns, straight fists. I saw it for myself. They met at Western High School. We ain't even, we kids, we babies. I'm like at least 7, 8, 9 years old, somewhere in that era, right?
It's 10-year-olds with ARs.
They meet at Western. You see one side full of rips. Of course, Western, it's just like when we was in high school. They was a blood school back then. All the Bloods is on this other side of the gym. One dude come down to I'll never forget, to the bottom of the thing. It was a communication. They met at a park.
I hear you.
And handled their business. Wasn't no telling, no snitching. But in the same token, it's like you said, it's different. It's different now.
Is that whole story you told a good thing or a bad thing?
What the good thing was is if they had an issue with, you know what was good about it?
So it's good.
You know, it was, to me, it's good because there was no guns. If I have an issue with you, yep. Because you know why? They didn't involve other people in their BS. Meaning nobody's gonna die. Nobody has the intentions of killing anybody. No innocent people. Even if we go in a fist fight, we're gonna go fist fight over here.
Somebody could die from fist fighting.
Hey, there's nothing you gonna do about stopping by fist fighting. Fist fighting is fist fighting.
So is your solution to tell the gangsters to put the guns down and go back to fist fighting?
That's one thing. Is let me explain to you this way. I'm gonna explain something to you this way. I'd rather them fist fight than kill each other. Absolutely. If I have a difference with you,
do you think,
and I can't
listen, do you think it's more than a 1% chance that could ever happen?
It can't happen.
By how much percent?
If this country,
when you unravel the baseball, you ain't putting it back together, bro. Once you get to the point of a 10-year-old with ARs, you think you about to drop it and learn how to box? Get the fuck out of here, G. So what's the solution?
I remember a
because
story,
you told me because you told me that not snitching even in a fist fight is a good thing. And back in the day, the fact that there was no guns involved made it okay to not snitch. But the fact that
hold up,
today makes it a different thing.
We try to get my words misconstrued. No, maybe I said that wrong, but
I'm saying that this
gangster shit turned from a
community movement into some negativity way before
a normal fist fight to stop it. A normal fist fight because of a man.
Let me say something. I remember a story. Growing up, like, you know what I'm saying, talking to my pops, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm probably like 10, 11 years old. And he was telling me about what was going on in Rwanda. And he was like showing me newspaper clippings, right? And I'm looking at the newspaper clippings, right? And I'm not really grasping it too much, but all I could remember was that they would be walking down the street with machetes, right? They walking down the street with machetes and they hacking people up. But not only is they hacking people up, they got the M16s and they gunning them down at execution style. And I'm thinking
Rwanda?
Not Hotel Rwanda. I'm talking about Rwanda, period. Like the genocide. The Hotel Rwanda is talking about what that is. Yeah. It was brutal. And it was really going on. So I'm thinking like these 10-year-olds, they get snatched up out there, whatever they live in, you know what I'm saying? And now they made to be soldiers. But then now that I'm older, I'm thinking the perspective of a 10-year-old with an AR in Chicago or Baltimore. Is that really being made to be a soldier? Like, ain't you more like a terrorist at this point? Like, you're.
Well, they was mad when Donald Trump said that though.
But though even Rwanda wasn't soldiers. Like they was. It's just, man.
You keep thinking about it, man. You keep thinking about what I am because I don't speak on it, whatever. You just your assumptions. Because I have some liberal views I like, some conservative views I like. I like things that's just right. It has nothing to do about a damn party, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
you know, that's why that's what America should be about. We should be able to like, okay, I like some things they saying. Okay,
somewhere in the middle.
I like what you saying. Okay, well let's work to do that. We have too much pride, and
ego.
And one of the things about our people is our pride is in the opposite direction.
We gotta fix the system. We gotta fix. Like you said earlier in the video, like I mean tonight, like it's just like the cycle. We gotta somewhere.
It's not just some gangster get shot. Who takes the L so that we could put brakes on it?
Nobody
who takes the L.
Well, if the left side gets killed last, they have to be like, okay, even though you killed my homie last, come on, let's stop it. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out where we could dissolve it. Because if it's gonna be an eye for eye thing, like you take mine, I take yours, then we can't stop. Right.
Well, that's what it is. That's what the structure. You got so much people into. We got so much people into the what's it, Sun Tzu? Is that his name? The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, bro. If you just really, just honestly sit back for a minute. Let's just talk about what we know, and let's talk about our childhood. Right. Think about it for a minute, homie. We had that glimpse of love, whatever you want to talk about, from our previous parents, for that glimpse of a time when we were children. Depending on what neighborhood you grew up in, or what environment, or where you stood, it changed and you had no choice. Some people were fortunate to be in certain neighborhoods. I always bring that up about. I literally bring it up all the time about. I love going to my cousin's house because, man, to actually see what you see on TV and see a big old white tree or whatever up and it's real. Like you smell what a real tree. Certain codes. It's just certain. It's normal. It's normal because you see it as you grow up, man, and it's, you know, just as that was normal, it's the same thing about not telling the truth. I'm trying not to use the word snitch. I'm just trying to use it for what it really is. It's not telling the truth. Because that's what a snitch is. It's not telling the truth. That's what you don't do. So I just have these different feelings. Like, we all agree that the no snitching is BS. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, where do we go from this point? Where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying? Are you a coward if you tell me you witnessed a crime? Why is it, you know, to me, it's like, why is it okay that our community, it's okay in our community, bro. It's like, it's okay to do it in our community, but it's not in nobody else.
I want to say this because I agree with you, but to a certain extent, because it's different with someone's personality like yours, my cousin, because you gonna stand up for what's for yours. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna be about yours, what's going on with yours. But then there's people that are nothing, and they'll tell you they're nothing because they've been told their whole life they're nothing.
And there's some people who are born to be followers too.
And follow, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole thing. So you're asking. I mean, you got a different personality. Like when I say personality, I'm talking about the strength in your personality. The person that you are is the kind of person that's going to take things and either it's going to be a negative effect or a positive effect. But you're going to make something happen. What about the person that's been told their entire existence that they're nothing? They ain't gonna never be nothing.
They just want to hang out.
What if he could be something just because he committed a murder? It don't matter who he murdered. It doesn't matter if he got the target or not. This is the thing about it,
because I've learned that I don't believe in that because the gang members tell him he's somebody, and you know, we have to come to a point where we got to step out of bounds and not be afraid to show them some things, show them how to make money without doing it the wrong way. Show the individual that, you know what I'm saying, telling the truth is no different from when you sit here and be like, the white man succeed and the white man does this and the white man does it. You know what the white man does? He tells the truth. When I'm a tax-paying citizen, you come over here and you mess with my house, I'm gonna tell on you. You're going to jail. All the different things that we despise, they follow. They just follow the common laws. Okay, so then, unfortunately, you have a number of people with felony charges, and all those different things to where their votes don't matter. All those things. Mentally, subconsciously, we don't understand what has been done to the community, unfortunately, and what it continues to do to the community. But for those who are like myself, who stand on his rights, but however, I had a stepdaddy. that was a gangbanger, and he still risked his life, and I watched my stepfather change his life, regardless. And you know what changed his life? God was the main source.
Not following.
And the second source is that he had 2 kids that wasn't even his own. We was not even his blood. However, those kids, he wanted to be a better example, and he changed his structure. You understand what I'm saying?
I heard a statistic today that said, it came from NPR News, and it said that 50% of millennials do not believe in the church. However, they are deeply spiritual. And
that's a whole nother segment. That's a whole nother segment.
So listen, I'm going to tell you like this. That is a whole nother segment, but I'm going to break it down for your face real quick. My wife loves going to church. She hates fucking going to church because she don't want to interact with the people. But listen to me without interrupting it. I'll tell you. She goes to church because she loves to sing.
That's her passion. That's her gift.
What makes her feel good with the Lord is the voice. However, the people in the church do not move her. It's almost a fight against herself with the people because I love going to church. Now, I'm not saying all the people. I'm just saying there's certain, aspects of the church that make her like, I don't want to go there because I'd rather sing. So what I'm trying to tell you is people view the Lord as something that they can feel and that they can touch. It is not necessarily just the Bible. It is definitely about the scripture. It's definitely about scripture. But it's not just about scripture. It's about being able to feel the inspiration from what you feel is the vision of the Lord. Your Lord. That's not sound doctrine. Listen, that's what I'm talking about with spirituality. That's the spirituality part.
That's not sound doctrine. That's not sound doctrine.
That's why y'all have a problem with it, because it's not sound doctrine. But that's exactly how people feel. So if you're gonna
feelings and facts is 2 different things. You can't.
Do you want to reach the people?
I've reached the people by His grace.
Well, I'm telling you right now, 50% of millennials will not go to church.
Let me ask you this.
Because they don't like the interaction of the church.
Is going to church required?
But do they believe in the Lord? Yes.
That's not spirituality. You can believe in any God and be spiritual.
Bottom line.
What is that? What did you just... So you did just prove my point?
You're going into a whole nother subject.
Did you just prove my point, though?
Let me explain to you
this. You believe in
this.
the devil and be spiritual.
You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
My question, I don't even want to go there because it's a whole different subject. But my question
That's
to
really
you,
what it is.
My question to you is the church required for your wife to get the satisfaction of singing?
No, it is not.
Well then, conversation dead because
she can praise right where she is.
Not required. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not even going to.
She does like church.
Cause y'all ain't ready.
Once again, the people identify with the spirit,
In my world, bro,
not the building.
in my world, this is one man's opinion, and I know that it is not everyone's opinion, but in my world, there's only a few gray areas. Either you're going to move your feet or you're not going to move your feet. Either you're going to put your vote in or you're not going to put your vote in. You don't get to be on the fence because that's the same as not putting your vote in. So if you're going to make a decision and say that you like the church and you're about the church except for everybody in it, that means you only like the building. And if it's about the singing, then that means that the singing for the Lord can be done without being in the church.
That means you don't like the building, and you only like the singing.
I'm asking, which direction are you going to move your feet? You can't say, I love it and I hate it.
I'm going to move my feet towards the Lord.
Are you going to? Well, then, boom. And does that moving your feet towards the Lord require the church?
No, it does not.
So then, the fact that she needs to go to the church to sing, when we just
She doesn't need. That's my whole point. What you're missing. The point is she doesn't need to go to church to sing.
So then she likes going to church more than she doesn't like going to church.
Listen,
Is that
she
yes or no?
wants to sing, bro.
60-40?
Do you hear what I just said to you? Are you gonna put some extras on it based on what I'm telling
If you're going
you?
to church,
She
and
likes
you don't like
to
it,
sing.
but you like it. That means that you like it more than you don't like it. Because if you like church, but you didn't like it that much,
I think you're
you
taking
wouldn't
it
go.
somewhere else. It's not supposed to go. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm saying 1, 2, 3.
You're not.
I like
you're not
the church, but I
understanding the
don't go to church
spirituality
because I
part
don't
either.
like it more than I like it. Your wife goes to church because she likes it more than she doesn't like it. No?
Maybe I can't speak for my wife. I'm just telling you what she likes.
Well, I mean, we shouldn't bring her up. We should just speak about you and me, and if that's how.
No, you're trying to disprove a point when I'm trying. You're not listening. Is the point? Is the problem? What I'm trying to tell you
You
is
said that her religion is deeper
brought-
than just the Bible.
I didn't say nothing about religion. So you're already wrong.
Spirituality.
So now her spirituality is deeper than her religion. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can.
That's all that I'm saying.
And her favorite part about going to church is the singing.
She's non-religious. She loves the Lord.
So does she sing spiritual songs for all religions? We're talking about Christian shit, right? That's a religion. That's a specific set of rules and a specific set of
Man, the
beliefs.
Bible says in Hebrews 10 and 25.
You can't pray more than to one. You can't serve more
I'm
than one
gonna say
God.
this. I'm gonna say this.
Spirituality
It's
is
I can
not,
go. I can
is
go.
not the correct
Whatever,
term
man.
in my
I can
opinion.
go. I
can
can
take
go
it
in
wherever
so
you
many
want to.
different ways, and we not gonna get off snitch. We're talking about we gonna stay on topic. Because this is a whole nother, and it's coming.
When we gonna land the plane?
Since we see what was being talked about, I think that's what's gonna probably be the next show. Getting into religion or scripture, whatever, on this feeling. I'm happy you brought that up, family. But the Bible tells us, let us not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. That's from the NIV of Hebrews 10 and 25. There's a lot of different scriptures I can go, and I can go in depth about on the importance of the church. Yes, the Bible does teach that. The Bible does
church
teach
will
us
be non-existent
why
in
the
the
church
next
is
10
important. But yes, the church, there's a
Unless they
possibility,
change
and I rebuke the adversary.
what they are
I
doing.
rebuke the
So it's
okay.
So it's
what he's
about.
saying,
So it's about contributing and helping the church. It's about being a part of the church, right?
the church is the community. Absolutely. And what Quentin was saying just now, if we don't change our ways, if we don't get focusing back to I call it what the elders used to say, the old landmark, the basics. You know what I mean? The old, when the church was called in the book of Acts, of genuinely loving God and loving each other, loving the community. That's how you revolve snitching, like genuinely. So like when you said in that statement, we were talking about, okay, what does it do good for you, Quentin, me and Tyron or whoever to do, but nobody else. But the problem is that we got to get that part out of our psyche and know that there's other people with the same willpower that want to do what you do. And there's those who are not going to want to be a part of it. Why? There's reasons why. One, they may not believe in your movement, because 9 times out of 10, just like the reason why No Topic Left Untouched is here, is because we're talking about stuff.
A culture,
bro, let me finish.
If we're talking about the culture, we're talking about the majority. We're not talking about the few that I know.
When people start seeing something, when people start believing and seeing something that's real, that's what made the Black Panther Party the way they were. That's why Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement the way it was.
So what's majority?
That's why Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad was so successful.
What's majority?
That's why Booker T. Telfair Washington was so successful in being a model in front of the white folks, the ones who do whatever, but be able to teach them they're wrong without being the way we want to be or the way we think it's structurally or politically correct. It's so many different people that have shown us the way, but we don't want to look at them for whatever reason. We want to look at the homie or what's in front of us. Or you got the coward who don't want to step up and maybe learn. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe I don't have it all. Let me tap into the source to get it, or whatever. Excuses. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, only used to build bridges of nothingness. Those who use those incompetent tools are monuments of nothingness. I am not an incompetent individual no more in my life. So to get out of incompetency, we have to believe. And I have to believe that in order for me to change a structure, I'm going to have to change what makes me comfortable. So if that means that in order for me to get out this comfort zone, and I see like when we talked about on one of the episodes back in the day when we seen a young man with his pants down, we know where it come from. Man, I got to get out my uncomfortable zone. Young bro. Man, let me holler at you for a minute. Let's have a different conversation or whatever, instead of mad dogging and looking at him side of his face and making him feel inferior, and then we go into attack mode. If he don't accept my gift of just life or just helping him become better, that's on him. But somebody will if I continue on that path and I get stronger and I get stronger. But it comes to a point where we start teaching the truth. Those individuals who dealing with snitching and struggling, and they need to be able to be, when I tell the truth, my people are going to back me up and make sure I'm protected by any means necessary to where it can.
That would be ideal. That would be ideal. If
that was the case, the Black Panther Party wouldn't have been here.
Right, that would be ideal.
But they will still be here.
The only reason they're still here, the only reason why the Black Panther Party was shut down, we have to quit being afraid of a J. Edgar Hoover or whoever it may be in order to save our people. Dr. King was assassinated.
They're always going to try to infiltrate.
I don't care about dying, bro. About saving my damn children, man, no more. And that's what's the problem with the community. Period, man. You're scared. If you're scared, you're scared. We can't be scared no damn more. And that's my issue that nobody want to talk about, that hurts my damn heart. I do flowers on my daughters because nobody, I ain't me. Yeah, it's emotional because we got to quit being cowards. We are the gods of the earth.
The whole act is cowardly.
We are the gods of the earth. We have been given knowledge of self. I've been through it all. 5%, everything. And I know how important our beings are on this earth. But until we start putting our picking up your 2 balls and your cane and standing like a man.
Dying takes a good man off the planet. And you can, you might be able to influence more alive than you can dead.
No, evidently that's
right. You're right. If you can package it right.
Okay, here goes my summation. I'm gonna end my thoughts. There's 2 sides of a coin in my head. One man's opinion. There's one thought that says my job is to be the best version I can be, the best version of myself I can be, and in that responsibility is I have to make sure that I am always in check. I am always progressing self and the people who I am directly responsible for. For me, I got 2 daughters, so for me, I'm responsible to make me better.
Queens. They future queens, so it's very important in our community.
It's important.
Absolutely.
It's important to make me better.
Absolutely.
And my direct.
I agree with
my
you.
direct
150%.
dependence.
Right.
There's another side of the coin that says it's my job to do for myself and to give of myself for the community. Charity work, benefiting others, big brother, big sister, feeding the thing, giving of your time and your money in order to make sure that the one next to you who looks like you has a little bit of something extra.
Okay.
Now, on one side of the coin, this person looks very, very giving. And on the other side of the coin, this person looks very, very selfish. Now, in my head, the person who's focused on self and his direct dependence is going to make himself or herself better in his direct dependence. And then, in that way, contributes to the numbers of people who are business owners, who kill each other, who have felonies, and who do things with the N-word way of life versus trying to live like a black person. And there's the other part,
human being.
and there's the other side of the coin that says it would benefit you more to give to your community with your time, money, and efforts, right? So now, in my head, the reason why I argue with you and the reason why I have certain contradictions in my head, the reason why I'm trying to piece it together, because I hear you say on one end, the gangster thing is a good thing. And on the other end, I hear you say the gangster thing is not a good thing.
And I'll clarify that for you.
So
when you done, I'll clarify.
So these two coins,
I'll clarify
these two
clear.
heads and tails are not necessarily, in my head, neither one of them are wrong.
Okay.
But they are most definitely
I'll clarify
the opposite
for you.
thinking.
Just let me know when you're ready.
No?
Let me know when you want, and I'll clarify.
Go.
Before you do that,
Yeah.
I think that what's being forgot is that it's 2 sides of the same coin.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's still one coin, and it's just all whatever within you. That it's all within you. It just might be.
Are you saying before he go?
No, I'm just iterating. Like, yeah, I hear you, but what we can't miss is the fact that it's
That's where I started my
one
conversation.
person
Was that
doing the thing though.
the same contribution? This is the same nickel. I'm contributing to the wealth of black folks, either by making sure the people in this room are improving self,
Correct,
or giving more of myself to give to the community center, and make sure you are doing the boys 12 and under, and you know.
I got you. Yes, sir.
Okay, so
There's 2 different approaches, but are you not contributing on both though?
Yes.
bro, the bottom line is this: contributing to both. Now I literally really lost my whole thing of thought just listening, man.
If I remember correctly, you were getting ready to tell us why the contradictions in the gangsters' information. Do you remember you was talking about why gangsters being a gangster is good and also being bad?
No, it necessarily wasn't even that. What it really was because of I would endorse a fist fight over a pistol play. Okay, if you look at the origins, even Black Panthers only brought the
guns.
Yes, you can. The only reason why the pistols came out, the only reason why the pistol, because before that it was zip shooters, and it wasn't even real zip guns. You know, the reason why that came out is because of the police situation. That's the reason why those guns came out. You understand what I'm talking about? When we get in Crips and Bloods, the first thing that man, I'm talking right now, bro. I'll let you talk. The first thing that ever shot was a blood shot because of the force of how many Crips it was over how many Bloods it was. It wasn't just a natural, I'ma just kill you. They shot in self-defense because it's 100 and 200 and whatever thousand you, and it's 30 of us. I'm tired of y'all coming over here and beating me up, so I'm going to do what I need to do. So let's get that straight. The bottom line is that when we come to fights, everybody has our community has a big thing on pride and all those different things. right? Yes, I want us to be able to. Man, look at the platform we sit on. We don't all agree. The average conversations we talk and what we talking about and what we take it at, the majority of our people, F you. You a punk. Such and such.
We are
Get up.
minority,
I'm gonna punch you in your face. But we have to be an example.
Listen, I feel like
you ain't
cousin. This some BS as you've been
it's
demonstrating
BS.
The whole night, and I feel like there's always gonna be some BS.
We got to be able to come in here and let
I mean,
those
human
who tell
beings
the truth
is human
be
beings,
strong.
bro.
You cut me off, I don't care.
And and I'm not saying human beings don't have the morality to act right, because we do. Like, we know what's right and wrong. Like, there's a reason why you hesitate. There's a reason for all kinds of things. You know what I mean? But we need to get out of the first of all, we need to get out of the, when we see the enemy, shoot him. Like, somebody got to sit down and be the bigger man. And I'm just saying that I'm just trying to get my point out, because I understand that you was going through some things and you messed up. And I took the opportunity to say what I was going to say. And I'm just trying to finish it out. I ain't going to be long. I'm just saying, man, dude, it's just a matter of, bro, we gotta be able to come together. We gotta stop doing these things. That's the first thing. And then secondly, after you stop shooting each other, maybe we can figure out a way to get whatever it is that you need, that we can be able to make it worth your while, because life is definitely better than taking people's people. That's all I'm saying. E, you got 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
How you bullshit? Make a point. See, that's why we got
the bottom line is, man, we just have to be real with each other and stop playing and be men. You have to be men about it and not be scared. You know what I'm saying? For those who I've never been a snitch. I've never told. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that's like, and that's why it's weird for me. But we have to be a family. That's what all those people I was speaking about taught us. Every individual, whatever movement, whatever it was. Harriet Tubman saved over 300 plus slaves, bro, and didn't lose one. You think that was by snitching? No.
Who kept that record?
Look in the books. That's just the unwritten books. That's information. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it took. That's a way if you're not gonna snitch. That's the reason to not to snitch.
And it can never take our smile away. Why you wanna quit when success is just a mile away? It is what it is. Do what we gotta do. Shit, we tryna live. We know struggle, and it can never take our smile away. Why you wanna quit when success is just a mile away? Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Till your good is better and your better is best. Good.